Oh, well, here I am. I'm just waiting for I'm waiting for a couple of people to come around and see. I don't know whether they will or not. So we'll just wait a few seconds more till we get to 8 o'clock straight up. At least by my clock. I don't know whether it's by your clock or not. There's time differences because I think I'm pretty much sure that I'm lined up pretty much with New York City in terms of whatnot. All right, so here we are. This should be it. Everybody should be there if they're going to be there. If they're going to show up, they're there. Okay. First of all, Saturday I got my first shot of the vaccine. Um, wasn't sure what I was going to get. I ended up getting the Chinese vaccine, which is, I guess it's all right. I mean, what I'm looking at now, I think that you're going to need at least a third shot of something before you become any kind of immune to this thing, and then you're going to need you know, Pfizer says they're only good for up to 6 months right now, so nobody really knows anything about this stuff yet. You're at the beginning stages of it. I don't know if I told you this, but when they came out with the polio vaccine way back when, my school was Long Island was used as a testing ground. I met Dr. Salk there. Uh, we started out with the injection, then we were invited back again, and we got the oral vaccine. And then I had to go to the doctor and get the oral vaccine again because nobody would tell me whether I have gotten the vaccine or the placebo. It's a strange situation, but so I got a lot of vaccine running around in me there. I've never had a bad reaction to any kind of vaccine. Doesn't mean anything, I guess. I don't know. You people can't see, and I've tried. It's very difficult. I don't know whether you can see it this way. If you look at my eyes, you see how red they are in my face. That's dermatitis. That's from. We think it's from the mask. It could be from just dry eyes. It looks like shit. It makes me crazy. All right. So that takes care of that part of it. I said I got the vaccine. May 1st, I go back for the second shot. It's a Chinese one, like I said, which is good because the Russians got one they call Sputnik. Now, who would want to get a vaccine named Sputnik? Okay, I mean, all right, so it made it into space the first time, but I just read the president of Argentina, who was then about 2 months ago, got vaccinated, completely, totally vaccinated. Just tested positive for COVID, so I don't think that's the greatest vaccine in the world. Um, I talk about people say they want me to do videos about my artwork, as you can see in the back. It's not my artwork. I take patterns and put them on wood and either carve them out or I fill them in with wood burning. So I don't know whether I'm an artist. I'm a craftsman, I guess. I don't think I'm a real. I don't know. I don't know how to define myself really. But I'll show you my cat collection here, if I can. Yeah, that's one. These are all wood burned on 5-inch squares of very thin plywood, which can make it difficult to do sometimes because it gets a little too hot at times. If you notice towards well, you can't see it. It actually looks pretty good. Okay, but the tail has actually got a burn mark in it near the top. Uh, I have to get to varnish all of these, but I did a lot of cats. They were somewhat easy to do. Um, my biggest problem when I do these things, and I'm very honest about that, is tracing them onto the wood. That's the hardest thing to do. I use graphite paper because I found out when I use the regular carbon paper, I get a buildup on the tool, and the tool doesn't work. Plus the fact I can't get rid of the blue. You know, I look for black carbon paper. I have black carbon paper. It's horrible stuff. The blue is actually, if you're going to use carbon paper, the blue backing is the best. I like this one pretty much the best of all the ones I've done. Little kit. It came out pretty good. Okay, I have other things I can show you too, but they're relatively easy. On this scale, I do the tracing on a piece of plywood and these squares, and it takes me about stopping for something or other, about an hour and a half to do one, depending on what it is. This one is from my fish collection. Took a little bit longer, um, only because you're burning so deep into the wood. You have to walk away from that because it smells so bad. But like you come to here to YouTube, and you can learn how to do all this. And how you do it, it's makes you great or not. You're not gonna, you learn the basics. You go out and you practice it. There's so many variables to this. How much when you're looking at these people, some of these people think you're an expert. Or I think it's so simple. It's you if you don't know how to do this, you're stupid. So when it comes to wood carving, every guy at some point in time has picked up a stick with a little penknife and carved a plane into it. That's called whittling. And my whittling consists of it's doing things like this out of a block of wood. It's thin, three-dimensional. It was a piece of white pine, which isn't the best wood in the world to do it with, but it's relatively easy. You learn how to use a knife. The best thing you need to do is a safety procedure. Wear a glove when you first start and whatnot, because you're going to cut yourself if you don't. You say, well, I'll be very careful. All you need is somebody to walk into the room and disturb you when you're in the middle of a cut. You're going to lose something. Um, so you do that, you get plenty of light and whatnot. And it's really, I don't think it's that hard, but I'm not that great at it either. I mean, there's people a lot better at it than me. You have different tools for every little cut. It depends on the wood you're using. Most where I live, I live in Colombia, I end up using mostly white pine or logs from outside. If you want to do this right, and you take lessons, they're going to say they're using basswood. It is soft. Don't ever think it's that you can just go like this and cut through it. It's much harder to do it's harder to cut than you think it is. And what you have to be careful of is you have to control the knife the whole way through. But I'll tell you that there's a guy, Gene Messer, is very, very good. He's long-winded, but and he likes to talk about himself sometimes. He's got a hard life. I don't begrudge him any of that stuff. But he was nice to me when I've communicated with him. He's very nice. Sent me my first pattern. I did it. He loved it, and my wife still loves it. The only problem we have is it started to split from sitting in the sun all the time. That's another thing you have to worry about with wood. It dries out. You have to do something to preserve the wood. Like I said, I have to varnish all of these things. I'll be oh look, a horse. I'll be doing this on coasters fairly soon. But the smaller you get, especially at my age, the harder it is. And right now, I'm not so sure it's good for me to be doing that because of the heat that dries out my eyes and the smell and everything. I'm still trying to figure out what this is. This looks red to you. This is actually very, very flaky. It's like chapped. My lips are all chapped. My face is all peeling and everything. They say it's eczema, some form of dermatitis, eczema, whatever. I don't really care. I just want it to go away, and I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's oblige me. If you're trying to figure out what I'm talking about here, I'm trying to avoid talking about anything political right now. It was a. That's a. If you want to see that, you can go see one of my pre-recorded videos, or you can go to FloundersGreatAdventure.com and read my blog. I have stuff there that I talk about. I'm trying to get people to come here and talk to me, talk back to me, but nobody wants to talk back to me, so that's okay. Uh, that way I don't have to, that way I can just run my mouth off and wander all over the place. Yeah, I like reading. I mean, I can't write about writing because I'm not very good at it. I tell good stories. I'm not a writer. I hate I don't, as far as I know, I don't talk in grammar, proper grammar. You know, I don't use proper grammar when I'm talking, so why should I have to use it when I'm writing something? Um, you keep saying, oh, I'm going to smack myself in the face. A very annoying thing. You have a public speaker that stands up there and says, or, you know, it's a very, very annoying thing in public speaking. I do these for a half an hour, and you know, and one of the things I've always told people about where public speaking is, you know, somebody should talk to a priest, tell a priest that after 10 minutes, his audience is asleep. I don't care how devout they are, they're asleep because you're just, your attention span, they speak in monotone for the most part, and their attention span is limited. Your attention span is limited. We had the last president down here, this, oh God, I forgot, it was Santos. He spoke that way in monotone, very boring. He did a speech, and in the background he had military and police personnel, and I was just watching them yawning, and one of them actually fell asleep standing up. You can't, you know, you're a boring individual. I mean, what they believe is that, you know, you're there to listen to them, and you'll listen no matter what, and that's not true. If you don't make your conversations interesting, nobody's going to listen to it. And if you don't know how to use vocal tones, raise your voice, lower your voice, you know, whatever to keep people from falling asleep. If you just drone on, think about it. You know, you sit in a lecture hall and this guy's up there talking to you. I don't care what he's talking. I don't care how important that lecture is. It's sooner or later you're going to get bored. You just you do. It's like how can I put it in the physical aspect of it? If you're doing something over and over again, like okay, I do wood carving and I do wood burning, and you reach a point where you're actually not paying attention. You're daydreaming, you know, because it's boring. You're doing the same thing over and over again. It's a repetitive action, you know, and repetitive actions are boring. Um, you know, that's what they call when you drive. You've heard the expression "white line fever." That's because you watch a broken white line, which is usually when you're driving down a fast highway. Usually, there's a broken white line unless you're coming to a turn or something. That's, you know, or it's no passing zone or something. That there's a different color or whatever. But it's a broken white line, and so it's this flashing you're getting in your eyes, and that's hypnotic. That's how people have accidents. And maybe you don't know, you've heard of this, that if you know, I don't know how much you know about computers and whatnot, but if you've ever heard this thing with computers, it's in televisions too, I think. It's called a flash rate. Your picture is actually flickering at a specific rate. That's why that's why your eyes go bad if you spend all day looking at it, or if it's too bright, you don't adjust it right, you're sitting too close, sitting too far away, whatever. It'll mess up your eyes. And that's why everybody ends up wearing glasses. You know, they work on the computer all the time. So, little bits of information I keep throwing out there to you, you know, just to try and keep you interested in me because I'm a cool person. So I was sitting around feeling melancholy the other day too. You know, I'm 75 years old, and the problem I'm having isn't that I'm old and I can't do what I used to do. That happens. You get used to it. That isn't something that happens overnight, even though people will tell you it does. Um, I'm losing friends. You know, most of my friends are younger than me, except a few. I've had a few exceptions that are my age or older. I've lost most of them. Um, the ones that are young. I lost a couple that were younger than me. I lost my niece who's much, much younger than I am. Died very, very young. One of my nieces, and that's bothered me. And maybe I don't show it, maybe I don't say it enough times, but that's bothered me. Because she was the one person that encouraged me to do anything. If there was somebody that'd be watching that tonight, it would be her. That's what she does. She took an interest in what I did. She read my stuff. Kind of goofy as it is, my elder niece, my not older than me, but older than the oldest one now, same age as my wife, which is still a lot younger than I am. She doesn't. I don't think she reads it anymore. She lives in her own world, which is cool. If I had lost my father, my mother, and my sister, I think I'd be in the same position she is. Actually, I am in the same position. I lost my father when I was 21, which was 54 years ago. Which I never really. I don't think he was a bad man, but we just never really got along real good and close. I couldn't have conversations with him. Um, then I lost my brother and my mother, and I lost my uncle. I've lost all my uncles. I've lost my stepbrother. I've lost just about everybody. Some of these people I hadn't spoken to in years for various reasons. A lot of the reasons weren't my doing, but I guess I could have tried a little harder to talk to them. I don't know. I have one. Well, I have a couple of nephews. One I don't think I've ever talked to. So the brother, the one I talked to, and they're good kids as far as I can tell. They're loyal to their father. They're good to their father. They were good to their mother. Turned out wonderful, so I'm not going to get too excited about it. If I don't talk to them, fine. If they don't want to be part of my life, that's okay. I understand that. I understand stuff like that better than a lot of people do. And I don't know why, but I do understand it, and I don't get upset about it. Um, then again, I don't always, I'm sitting here saying, well, I'll call him. So, I should call that kid when I get out of here. And I won't do it. I know I won't, but, I say I will. Let's see what else is going on in the world of Jeff. Not much, really. Uh, the COVID, like the virus itself is on the rise down here again. It's like every 4 weeks it shoots up, people down here, you relax the restrictions on the people down here and they go nuts right away. And then when you bring the restrictions back, they get uptight and panic. And some will pay attention and some won't. I think there's a lot of unemployment where I live, where there's a lot of rich people. I know there's a lot of questionable people living where I live, around where I live. When I say questionable, there's, let's see how to put this. There's an element of lawlessness in Colombia, and that some people who live around here are part of it. But they don't bother me, so I don't bother them. I don't care. One of the things I will tell you about Colombia is that it's a serial killer's paradise. And I mean, this is coming out of left field, I know, from this conversation, but it is. It's an absolute serial killer's paradise. You disappear, people don't get excited about it. I have neighbors up here. If their kids disappeared, there'd be hell to pay. There would be panic all over the place. But the police don't get upset. They don't find these people. They disappear and they're gone. They don't tell you if they found them or not, so you don't really know. And the odds are they don't find them. They don't even find the bodies of these people. They found a guy who had was stacking bodies and burying them, stacked up I don't know where it was. I think they said he had 16 bodies. Nobody knew they were there. I don't know how they found him. The dog or something, dug in it and found it. I mean, this guy had been doing this for years, and they don't know if that's all the bodies there was, because he's like crazy. He's not talking. He's in jail someplace. But you commit murder down here, you'll get like, you kill a kid, you'll get 35 years in jail maybe. And you're 20 years old. So you're going to get out when you're 55 years old. Probably do it again. But you won't be caught the second time because you're too smart the second time around. So it's not a nice place. It's not a nice place anywhere. But I mean, if you look at the urban environment that I live in, and then you realize you can go, I guess something like a mile from where I live, and be in a desolate area, run down factory or something, construction zone. You can bury bodies there; nobody's going to find them. You know. And there's no real security on the construction sites. They have a guy walking around carrying a nickel-plated shotgun, but come 12 o'clock, these guys are sleeping. I'm sorry, they're sleeping. They're not walking around. I've been out there. I've come home at night from visiting somebody or something, and we've gone by these people, and you can't wake them up. They're asleep. You can't find them. Um, on a holiday, maybe like Christmas Eve when the fireworks are all out there. Yeah, then you can find them. But I don't know. They're not that dependable. We have two security guards. They're unarmed. They're on no weapons at all. Uh, there's one on the bottom of the hill at the main gate coming into the property. There's one at the top of the hill by my house, enter my property and whatnot. We have a gate there, but that doesn't mean anything. I've heard that a couple of people have gotten mugged up on top of the hill. First of all, it's dark. It's a wooded area up there, and there's a million what places people can go run from there. So the kids up there, or like the kids used to be across the street from my house, are partying, selling drugs and partying. You don't want to mess with those people. They're not the brightest things in the book. If you run into an intelligent criminal, you're safe. You've got there's no problems. You run into an intelligent criminal, you're probably going to walk away from it alive. You run into a drug addict or a stupid criminal, a lot of bad things can happen to you. What can I talk about? I'm running my mouth. I know that. Oh, going back to what I can teach people online, because in wood carving, like I said, there's much more qualified teachers, people that are actual teachers and whatnot, and have the equipment and know how to do it, and they're set up to do the video, and they know how to do it right and whatnot. But it's like writing, I said to people, I hate grammar, and as far as I can tell, I don't speak perfect grammar. I wander and I rant a lot of long sentences and run-on paragraphs or what have you, and I tend to write the same way. I tend not to use punctuation properly, because most of my stuff is dialogue anyhow. So I don't see the necessity for that. I don't see people. That's the question I have. I don't see people talking perfectly grammar. So why should they write perfect grammar? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Um, commas, question marks, periods, whatnot are nothing more than a tonal inflection when it comes to speaking. Or you stop. Is that a complete sentence? I don't know. Was that a question? Maybe. But it's to me it doesn't make any sense. It's not that all important, but I understand it's important to other people. I try to get it correct as much as possible, but I mean the one editor that I spoke to charges 10 cents a word. I forgot. No, for an 80,000 word book, it would have cost me 10 grand to get it edited, and that's like not worth it to me. I didn't think the book was going to sell that many copies to begin with. So. And I didn't sell any, so that I can't say really, except the ones that I gave away, that I bought personally and I gave away. So I can't, I don't get, reviews or anything, so I don't know whether anybody's reading this stuff or not, or they're just throwing it out. It's like this. I really don't know. I mean, it shows up that I get one person watching it every week. Does that mean somebody's actually watching it, or does it just mean somebody has the computer on? Nobody ever tries to talk to me on a live chat. I don't know how you would do that if you wanted to ask me a question. I'll have to figure that out someday. Um, but I don't know whether people are watching this or they think I'm a complete nutcase, which is possible. Um, Actually, if I was considered to be crazy, I would consider that a badge of honor. I try to, what I say here is, it's not a lot of factual research done. It's take a headline or something, and I look at it and say, well, this is going to be my opinion of this, my opinion of what I think of this, and I do it. People say, why don't you do a podcast? That requires me to buy a whole different line of equipment. I really don't want to do that. I have like I said, I tell people, I have a very good camera here. Here, this, I can see if I can lift it up so you can see it. Can you see this? This is a very, very good video camera for my computer. When I try to use it when I'm doing these videos, the voice doesn't synchronize properly, so I'm stuck using the computer camera and computer microphones, and I'm not sure that the broadcast is going out properly. It's it is what it is. There's not much I can do. I don't worry about it too much. I'm not a true professional. I would love to be. I would love to get a lot of people watching me and listening to me and conversing with me. Arguing there. That would be fun. I enjoy discussing things with people, listening to them. I was a bartender for over 30 years, and most of my education came from talking to people. I talked to people that were criminals, experts in credit card fraud, what have you, police officers, experts in investigation and forensics. I talked to business people, stockbrokers, lawyers. I talked to all kinds of people. Not the neighbor. I didn't work in neighborhood taverns. But I did talk to. I did have customers that would come in and that were long haul truck drivers and whatnot. And so I know a little bit about a lot of things, and I am able to discuss just about anything. And I have a certain expertise in some things. At least to my satisfaction, I do. I don't know whether that level of expertise would be to your satisfaction if you're watching me out there, but I do hope that some people start to watch me. It would be nice. My friends say, I'm going to watch you. Well, you're not interested in what I'm talking about for the most part, my friends, or my male friends, don't want to talk politics. They just want to ignore it and hope it goes away. But they're not in a financial difficulty at all. That's a different story. I've been broke. I've been minutes away from being an eviction in the past. So I know all about this. I've eaten day-old donuts for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I've lived on cartons of cranberry juice. So that's just. I've been there. All right, listen. I can't keep going on like this. I'm starting to bore myself. But I'll be back next week. It's Eastern Standard Time. Is Eastern Daylight Savings Time is 8:00. If you're in at a standard time zone, it's 7:00 Eastern Time. That's when I go on the air down here, which means that's where you get the 8:00 up there. Um, if you have, like I said, if you do watch this and you want to give it, or if you ever see one of these videos and you want to make a suggestion as to what I should talk about, or should I just shut up? Let me know. All right. Okay, everybody take care. We'll see you next week.